Hi, welcome back. So let's today discuss some basic to advanced concepts that might be asked in interview questions. And I'm sure it's going to be really helpful for all Excel learners. So first up, what is cell referencing? So cell referencing is used when you want to compute something using a cell value. And there are two types of cell referencing, that is relative and absolute. Relative cell referencing changes automatically. That is here, say for example, it's A1 plus B1. So it's in reference or in relative to row 1, whereas in absolute cell referencing, a cell is fixed. Let's say here, for example, A1 is fixed, both rows and columns, and plus B1. So suppose the columns are same, say you are computing it in C1, that is in C1 cell, you have inserted formula A1 plus B1. And so for that corresponding row, if you keep changing the row, the formula will get updated by itself for that relative row. Whereas in absolute referencing, all the subsequent rows, A1 is going to remain fixed, whereas B1 is going to get updated for each row relatively. And the shortcut for cell referencing is F4, that is you go to the cell and the formula, select the formula and press F4, and it toggles between many combinations ranging from relative cell referencing to absolute cell referencing for both row and column. Freezing panes. So why do we even need to freeze panes? In Excel, if you scroll down a large data set, often headers disappear. User experience, not for any sort of analysis. Freezing panes keeps it hassle-free so that you can view the top row and first column visibly all the time throughout your spreadsheet. You can either freeze the top row or first column, depending on your needs, or the entire pane. And then there's steps to freezing panes. That is, you go to view and then freeze panes, creating large data sets. Let's see it with example. We have a data set. This is a sales data set for North America. And these are headers. Now let's scroll down the sheet. Now as we scroll down the sheet, the headers disappear and we don't like it. So we can simply go to cell A3, then in the ribbon area, select view, freeze panes. Now if you scroll down, as you can see, you can view the headers visibly all the time, and then you can also custom color it for better visibility, etc. How to add filter to a data table. We add filter to a data table to easily identify patterns, remove data noise, isolate our desired specific groups, and prepare data for other tasks like whether charting or reporting. So let's convert this data set into a data table, home, and then you format as table. Simply select the first row or the headers of the data set and press Ctrl-Shift-L. Now, Name Manager. Name Manager improves readability and simplifies our formulas and makes it extremely easy to manage and maintain our workbook. Simplifies navigation to specific areas of spreadsheet, using formulas to simplify the references. Say there's a sales data column and you want to sum that entire column. Instead of selecting the entire range, or we can simply first designate a name range to that particular range and use it on formulas for better readability. So let's try here. So we have unit price here. Let's just call it unit data. Let's go to formulas. Let's go to name manager, create new unit price data. And then the range is also defined, and then press enter. So now we have this name range, and it's from J3 till J1002. That's it. Now let's use this as sum unit price data and then enter. Here we've also summed it using auto sum. It's alt equal. So there you go. Next, creating a hyperlink in Excel. Why do we even need hyperlink? So it could be used to access specific records or pages, external sites even, and it allows easy navigation and access to all of our related resources without cluttering the entire view. And we can either enter URLs or existing file as links, even place email address copy pasting URLs use mid. So I simply copy paste it and right click, insert, or use link, and address is this, or again, I can also use Control K. The pop-up, the insert hyperlink window will open, and then paste, let's say, country codes here as link. Now you can see how to insert URLs from web pages or files as links in Excel spreadsheet. Now applying advanced filters. It's used to display only the rows that match all of our specified conditions. Say, for example, we define a criteria where salary or unit price is greater than 5,000 and the country name is India. And to apply advanced filters, we first of all select the data as range and convert it into data table. Let's say here data, and then advanced base, this range, criteria range is this, and you want to go copy it to here, unique records only. So filter the data up to row 20. You can also do something else. So we can choose a filter in that place itself, or copy it to another location using advanced filters. Now, what is data validation? So data validation basically restricts the kind of data that you can enter in a cell to ensure that your data is clean and consistent. It can be used, say, for example, in dropdowns for departments or date ranges, like we have done in our previous exercises, to basically ensure right data entry. Text strings. You can combine text from multiple cells using either this method, which is the method we used to use earlier, that is using ampersand and delimiter within quotes and ampersand to concatenate or combine text from multiple cells. Or this one, simply use text join function and join A1, B1, and C1 cell content with delimiter as space and ignore the blanks. So it can be used for various purposes. One common example is combining first name, middle name, and last name in case they are separated by column. So you can also restrict others from modifying your data, reports, or dashboards by simply protecting that particular cell in that worksheet. This prevents accidental edits by someone who is new in your team or someone who is not familiar with your spreadsheet or dashboard. You can go to review, you can protect the entire sheet, and then select the cells you want to keep editable. That is, in case there's some error in those cells, the sheet still remain intact or the report still remain intact and is not compromised by those edits. You can set a password that you remember or write down somewhere and choose what are the actions that you want to allow to other users. This is extremely useful in team collaborations and managing crucial reports and dashboards. You can also password protect an entire Excel file. The only catch is recovery is not possible if you have forgotten the password. There are other methods to go round about it. Still, it's really hard to recover that password if forgotten. So choose that wisely. Again, go to review and protect your workbook. Let's say review. Here you can protect your sheet. This will protect only this particular sheet. Actions that you want to allow to users, whether that is selecting the lock cells, unlock cells, formatting, inserting columns or rows, deleting, etc. And this is protecting the workbook, protect workbook for structure, and then password. Let's say something, we entered a password caution. So if you lose or forget the password, it cannot be recovered. It is advisable to keep a list of passwords and their corresponding workbook and sheet names in a safe place. Also remember that passwords are case sensitive, etc., etc. Just warning here for all the new users and actually everyone who might forget the password. Let's close this. Cancel. Helpful in case of confidential files or reports. Next. Earlier we saw how to merge multiple columns, and now this is about splitting a column into two or more columns. That is, say, for example, here, John Doe. There's a split by space and a pipe in between. Let's say from this full name, let's say from this input, we want to extract first name and last name. In that case, we can go to data and convert it text to columns. Let me show you with this example. Let's say this. See, this is our example. Fine. Let's say this is what we want to separate into different columns. Go to data ribbon and we convert text to columns. We use delimited. Go next. Use this pipe as a delimiter, and text qualifier is also mentioned. Great. Now finish. So here you can see, since my cursor was here itself, so the changes were made in this cell itself. Have split one column into two columns, and likewise we can split one column into multiple columns using delimiters and other options available to us. We can also use fixed width if that is the kind of data you're dealing with. Again, data validation concept, creating a drop-down list. Now let's go to data and select data validation and create a list. Source is this. Let's say this is our list. Now, wherever we use this drop-down, let's say for this particular, now let me first fix this pane. Let's go to view, freeze pane, saves entry. Let's say I want to select a data by type, and I would just simply copy paste this format. Let's change the format. General, let's just drag it. So all these, as you can see, there are three options for each, and you can select only one of the options amongst the given list, and that prevents wrong data entry or even typos or any sort of such minor yet errors that could actually break your report. So for all such purposes, drop-down list is extremely useful in status fields, categories, or restricted data entry, in inputs like yes, no, maybe, etc. Now, how to calculate age in years from current date? Or let me reframe the question. Let's say how to calculate the days passed since the last order in your order inventory or something. Let's see. Here we have our order date. So first of all, let's see what happens when we enter today function. Great. So today is 29th of November, 2025. And this is the date we have here. I want to use date diff. Let's say, yeah, we want to calculate order, days past order. We want to calculate days past order. So we go to order, we do order date minus today, and then format it, number, date, reverse, today minus this. So it's been 7,456 days since past order. Of course, it doesn't make any sense here because it's an extremely old data. It's 2005 data. Let's say this was 29th of November, 2005. So in that case, that would make much sense. Year is 2005, month is 11, and so in this case, suppose the year 2005, then it's been 151 days since that particular order. Likewise, you can compute for other orders. And here, this data is still relatively more sensible. So yeah, this is how you can compute or date diff, use today function and date in many computations. These kind of computations are extremely common in reports and dashboards. Now, let's say you want to fill cells with all dates in a year, and you can do it in many ways. Let's say you simply start with 1/1/2026, and then you can simply add 1 and keep on dragging until your desired date, till 31st of December 2026. This gives you a list of sequential dates from today to year end. Another common trick is replacing a word with another word for quick edit, and the shortcut is Control H. So go to the spreadsheet. Let's say wherever there's black, we want to change it with gray, black, and replace all. We want to make the change in the entire worksheet. So replace all, and changes were made rather swiftly. Next, selecting all the empty cells in a data set. Now let's say there are some empty cells. Let's first create some empty cells, delete it. All right. Now we want to press Ctrl G and click special blanks. Let's see, Ctrl G, go to special and select blanks. Okay. Here, all the blank cells are highlighted and you can easily navigate through the entire worksheet and see where are all the blanks in your dataset. So this is really helpful. Formatting, filling, and deletion. Multi-level sorting, we have already completed it in our last exercise, where you can custom sort initially by department and then by employee name or something like that, and keep on adding levels for as granular and as multi-level you want to go in your data. I would recommend do not go too multi-level. That really creates extremely complicated views, and that's not something that is preferable. Another is a shortcut to show all the formulas in your worksheet. You can use Control Tilde key, worksheet 1. Yeah, let's say here, and I press Control Tilde. As you can see, all the formulas on this worksheet can be viewed easily with Control Tilde shortcut, and this keeps on toggling. So if you press it again, then you get the output of the formula on the worksheet. That's extremely helpful for easy debugging. Another way is use formula text. That is, you go to the cell, let's say, and just type the formula text and insert the cell in reference. And here you have the formula for that particular cell. That is if you want to check only few specific cells instead of the entire worksheet, or that feels extremely cluttered to you. Creating a heat map, which is extremely handy when you want to analyze your trends in performance. Let's say this is your data, and this is where you want to create your heat map. You can use, here it shows that for this customer ID, March were the most orders placed, and likewise for other customer IDs. This is just a dummy data. So for this customer ID, maximum orders were placed in the month of May. Likewise, now finding duplicate values in a column, go to data and not data, go to home, conditional formatting, highlight cell roots, duplicate values, and click OK. As you can see here, all the duplicate values are formatted in red. So basically, this kind of identifying duplicate values is more useful in like cases where data quality issues could be a concern. That is not the case here now. Say for like there are duplicate entries for employee IDs or something like that. And once you've identified the duplicate values, you can simply remove it, or you can select it and we can go to data tab and remove duplicates here. You continue with the current selection, then remove duplicates. That would remove all the duplicates and only the unique values in that particular column will. Now, many a times when you fetch data from external systems or even from like whether it's the raw customer data or something like that, then there is need for a lot of cleaning in that data set. Example, you have this is your data entry, and there are multiple spaces, unnecessary spaces in between, and you want to remove it quickly. You can simply use trim function that would remove all the unnecessary additional blank spaces from your cell data and gives you a more proper data with necessary spaces only. Next is creating a sparkline chart. So sparklines are these tiny mini chart, sort of 10-cell charts that can show you data trend for that particular row. And let's say here, you want to insert the sparkline. So let me repeat, you go to insert and choose line in sparklines and select the data range. Save this and click OK. Here you have the sparkline. You can also format it. Now that you have created sparkline, you can add markers and do a lot of things. Access, show access. Now for the specific data set, want to insert a similar chart like this, we can simply press Alt F1 and the chart will appear. Here there are, okay, this is formatting. You click on the chart, you can chart style, go to chart style and select the chart style you want, color and everything. You can also add other features like labels and table, error bars, or trend line, access titles, etc. from here. And filter also, filter your data. And to create a chart in a new worksheet, just press F11. Just press F11 and your chart is created on new worksheet. Inserting a watermark. So where would you like to insert a watermark in cases where, in data engineering cases, where you want to refer a specific timestamp of how much your data has been processed, or in confidential cases like indicating data status, or providing ownership, or preventing unauthorized sharing or duplication, etc. So you simply go to Format tab, and you go to Text, choose Word Art, and then from here you can select your choice of style and insert it here, like here, and format it. Next, let's here in the Home ribbon, go to Add-ins, ChatGPT flags. Just remove some. I don't need it. Go to Home and Add-ins. There are many add-ins available, and you can pick and choose. You can add Formula Bot to analyze your formulas, to basically get your formulas easily with using simply your natural language. And there are many other add-ins available. You can keep on exploring this later. You can also use add in Python for Excel and more add-ins. Text, education, financial management, marketing, training and tutorial. This is okay. Now selecting entire row or column. Just shift space for select the entire row and control space for selecting entire column. Default font and font size. Just go to File and go to Options, go to General, and in creating new workbooks, just play around with this default font and font size, or include how many sheets, and normal view or page break view, or what. You can make those changes and restart your Excel, and you can view those changes being implemented. Format Painter is nothing but to simply format similar cells with similar format like this. Just go to Home ribbon, select the brush. Select the brush, yes. Select the cell, select the brush, and then go to the cell you want to format and click on it. Yes, with double click, you can format multiple cells with Format Painter. Now, the easiest way to make cell data invisible is basically selecting that and formatting it as custom 3 semicolons. So let's say I want to make this cells invisible, not delete it. So I go to Home and I want to format it, format cells, custom it. So general, I want to insert 3 semicolons and click OK. So if you click around, you can still view the formulas here, but you cannot see it on your spreadsheet. That instantly removes clutter from your spreadsheet without actually deleting some hidden formulas that you might want to view later. Yes, so to remember, maybe you can add a tiny footnote or something of that sort. Let's do this. This is to print a very long data set. So let's say for this data set, I want to print this data set. So I go to page layout, print titles, rows to repeat, and go to print preview. As you can see, in each page, I can view the titles. Now, what if I don't do that? I go to print titles. What is my print preview? So with each page, I cannot see my headers anymore, and that is not something that I want. So to keep your headers visible, you need to do that in page layout in case you want to get the print of your dataset. And here in rows to repeat at top, choose your headers and first go to print preview And if everything works and seems fine, just go for the index match formula. Is a powerful and extremely flexible alternative to VLOOKUP. That is kind of inflexible. Let's see. Yeah, this is VLOOKUP. Let's just do a simple thing. So VLOOKUP works vertically, column-wise. So I want to, or this, I want to look at the second column. So that is North America here. How did I do that? Just use VLOOKUP, use the reference United States here, and then the range, and then the column number, and then true in case approximate match, or exact match, and then gives you North America. In HLOOKUP, let's see. So for example, this data, so I want to view the second row from the reference cell. Then I select the entire range. First of all, I get the cell reference and get the cell array, a range, and then row number. And blank is nothing, blank is just exact match. And press enter, that gives you 2. You can see this is my cell reference and that is my output. Whereas an index match, see, I am selecting an array from H column and then matching 336 from F column. So basically, match will give me the index to check in that index range. As you can see, I just remove this formula and this gives me an index. So basically, where is my 336 in this entire range or column here? It's third index. So an index function will give me third index of my selected range or array. And this works in any direction. So earlier, let's say I got the index from F column and output from H column. Here, let's say I selected index from F column and got output from E column. So got my index output from E column. So it works in any direction, unlike VLOOKUP that works only right ways with the reference as the starting point. Now if formulas. So if formulas are basically conditional checks or decision-making logics with logical tests like here for marks with a certain criterion and output for when the criteria is true and when the criteria is false. Nested if logic is ifs within ifs. Let's say for here, there's example, if a certain cell marks, if the marks are greater than 90, greater than or equal to 90, then grade assigned is A. If not, that is if the condition is false, then returns false. Then it again checks if marks are greater than or equal to 75. And if that's true, it assigns grade B, else again checking. Then C, if that also fails, then assign fail. So basically multiple conditions in one large formula that is called nesting. And instead of using nested ifs that can actually look extremely cluttered, you can use ifs function to simplify all your nesting logics. Here it's VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP that we have already discussed with examples. Now difference between count A and count blank. So count is to basically count numeric cells, numbers only, and ignores text or blank. Whereas count A is to count all non-empty cells, text and numbers. And count blank is to count all non-empty cells that are blanks only. My bad, counts blanks only. Now use wildcards. What are wildcards? Wildcard can be used with COUNTIF, search, match, or VLOOKUP functions. And asterisk wildcard is used to count any number of characters. Suppose there are names in your dataset that start with A, and you're not sure of the number of characters in that name, and it could vary across your column or dataset. In that case, you can simply write A. Basically, it starts with A, and then any number of characters with asterisk or question mark or single character. Here, this is an example for John. So it could be H or A, basically a placeholder for any single character. If the other 3 characters matches, it still gives you the output.